Hello, so I would like to welcome you all at the 5th VCC meeting, and the meeting will be opened by Mr. Urban Kreitzer, the Director of Science in the Ministry. So please, Kreitzer.
Thank you very much.
Press.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon on behalf of the Ministry. We have apparently some technical problems, though I'm not aware if you know that this is also a ministry which involves Directorate for Information Society. So when things go wrong, sometimes we say we are guilty of everything, but it's not working. But anyway. As I said, welcome on behalf of Ministry of Education, Science and Sports. I'm glad to see so many faces. I also hope that we will have time visiting some parts of Ljubljana, Slovenia, because some of you are staying 3 days. I was told that this is not a, let's say, classical meeting or conference, because you're allocated to 5 different places, and I believe that this speeches normally start in the morning and then everything goes and spread around, but this is a bit, let's say, unusual. Let me say really 2 or 3 sentences about DARIAH and the views or position of our ministry, our government. I know that Director General can be very boring and bothering you with a lot of high important words. I will be frank. I'm glad that EU and also Slovenia recognized this research infrastructure for arts and humanities as one of the priorities in the years to come. And I'm also glad that Slovenia was involved from the beginning. We also involved some of the national money, national resources from 2013 on, and as recognizing this area is very important, we are struggling. Okay, maybe struggling is too hard word, but we are trying to support all the research ideas, all the researchers, and all the work that you're doing in the years to come through our structural funds, which are more or less the only or money we have on the research in the future. DARIAH is also part of our national research infrastructure roadmap, which I also find very important, because sometimes people don't see humanities or arts as important in the research area, but the things you're doing and the interdisciplinarity of everything is really great, and I'm looking forward to support you with this. At 9 o'clock in the morning I was at my coffee, and I saw so many people trying to put everything in their computers, being online, and I think that combining this, let's say, with cultural heritage and everything else will put DARIAH strongly on the not only Slovene but also on European map. So whenever we will have opportunity, we will say this is it. We must go forward. We are looking forward. I'm glad that this meeting is held in Slovenia. So I think that this is one small part of business how we are trying to support you, and the ministry will, of course, is and will be a strong supporter of the idea of your work, and I hope you will do it next first 3 days, and after all, great job again and again. So welcome in Slovenia once again. For those who are here for the first time, we also ordered some sun, so you can enjoy also afterwards. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kreitzer. I just wanted to start by saying it's not the first time I come here. I'm turning to Thomas back in the room. I was here 18 years ago, I think, for our first DARIAH meeting, so it's been a while. And we were already at this time starting to connect various research teams across Europe and Eastern Europe at that time, working on things like standards, documents, and the like. So I've got some kind of a specific memories related to the place. I wanted to say this is a very nice meeting we have here in Ljubljana for many reasons, but a lot for the DARIAH internal reasons, because I think we can already boast quite a few successes in the recent period. So as you know, DARIAH is a very new structure because it has been established in Eric in August last year, but in between we've put many things in place. So we had our first General Assembly in November where we finalized our budget, where we put everything in place for the project with a membership which is 15 member states, not just in Europe, because we've got Serbia as well as part of the group, and with some potential other candidates. I don't want to mention every potential candidates out of the 15, but I think we do have some Polish colleagues in the room. I've not said hello to everyone. Do we have them here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because they are very close to apply and join us as well. So we are currently one of the two biggest infrastructures in Europe as ERICS, and we may be the only one, the biggest in the coming weeks, I hope. It's also very important for us because we had to put all the administration of DARIAH in place. So we had quite a big job in the board of directors in relation with the colleagues at the University of Göttingen and the Centre Maglock in Berlin to recruit our future DCO. This is where I want someone to stand up, Jakob. So we have today our new communication officer, Jakob Eppler. You can pester him with any kind of ideas, questions, reflections, visions for communication. We'll sort this out with him afterwards, don't worry. Don't worry, Jakob. To say hello. People should know that they could bother you during those 3 days. You'll be with us the 3 days, yeah. Yeah, and you don't have a mic, which may be a problem. So Jakob is a journalist by profession, and will probably use his skills heavily at the service of DARIAH. We've recruited, you've seen many email exchanges with her, Anne Grésillon as our Chief Organization Officer. She's situated in Berlin. And we're about to have our new Secretary General and Project Manager, respectively in Göttingen and Berlin. So we can give names already. So Project Manager will be Marco Raciti, who has a Master in European Project Management, and our future Secretary General, Mike Mertens, CEO. Oh, we are homogenizing names, but let's call that Secretary General for the time being, and so that people make a connection. We need to change also the project manager name. Never mind. So we have a strong team there. So four people situated, 2 in Göttingen, 2 in Berlin, who are supposed to be working closely with one another as a group. Finally, speaking of success, I think we need to speak about what we achieved with the European projects, because it's not a detail, I would say, in DARIAH's life. As you all know now, we've been very successful with the September call, whose result came in January. So with the Parthenos project, where we are strongly involved, with the ARI 2 project, and also our collaboration with the cultural heritage people with the Hyperion project. There, this is our friends there. Recently, last week, we just heard that our January proposal has, for the German, it sounds always good, HAS, Humanities at Scale, has also been retained. Anne is working currently in Berlin, setting up the administrative documents to make sure that as DARIAH we can be a partner in this project. But that's a major achievement to stabilize a lot of the things we want to have within DARIAH, from a technical, communicational, editorial infrastructure, and that's also a major achievement. So my prediction at this stage is that we will be busy for a couple of years within DARIAH, for sure. I can mention also that we're involved, because we've just discussed that with Alistair, in this CF proposal from Ljubljana. We've got a couple of man-months, 4 is a couple. And we also have the opportunity to interact with them there. I'm trying not to forget anyone. Erasmus Plus has been set up. This is Susan Scheiman and a few other energetic people. I'm thinking of Toma because he was agitated a little bit before he's there, putting things together. So we have a lot of networks, projects feeding the activities within DARIAH, which is really essential. A little word concerning the conference now. I think it's Tobias who introduced this word unconference for here, because DARIAH being a bottom-up infrastructure, we need the input for anyone from any working group, because together with Henk we set up this working group ideas after the summer last year, and we need now your involvement across those various sessions that you've seen on the program, so that we actually set the agenda for DARIAH for the coming months. We identify our priorities, we identify what kind of action means we have to actually fulfill those priorities, and really, offer services, real services to the research community, which is our duty here. Okay, thank you. What? Hashtag. Do we have, has someone started already, because I could not grasp a keyboard. Do we have an hashtag?
DARIAH EU, what?
So DARIAH is just okay?
No, DARIAH EU, because DARIAH can be...
without
without anything.
Without anything, so no administration.
I think that's what we always did.
Okay, so DARIAH EU. So you can tweet now, you're allowed. Okay, thank you very much. I wish you a very good conference, and I give the floor over to our local host, who is about to give a few words to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I will repeat myself a few times, but I would like to thank to the Ministry to host us, to Mr. Urban Kreitzer for the warm welcome, and special thanks goes also to Dr. Albin Kral and to Dr. Johannes Bock for all the help by organizing this conference, and especially to you all for coming to Ljubljana. I mean, the work already began in the morning and have a lot to discuss in the next few days, but I would like still warmly welcome you to the 5th VCC meeting, and we're proud to finally host this conference here in Ljubljana, since Slovenia participated in DARIAH practically from its early beginning, from 2007, and we have seen quite a lot of European cities in the past, so Ljubljana is now on the turn. The time is running fast, and DARIAH became an eric in this process, but I can still remember the first until now only spring VCC conference in Utrecht. In 2012, when I was standing in front of you for the first time, and I was in the role of the national coordinator for Slovenia for a month or two, and I was presenting the Slovenian activities and plans for DARIAH. And now, 3 years later, things change a bit, especially in the terms of getting a firm structure in the European level, but also the course of the Slovenian DARIAH group remains stable and long-time oriented. We would like again to thank to the Ministry as the representative entity in DARIAH for their constant support for our work in the humanities sphere. Since Slovenian DARIAH, which is in this building also known as the Slovenian S3 project CDIH, at the moment still a joint effort of two biggest research infrastructures in the humanities in Slovenia. Those are the research infrastructure of the Institute of Contemporary History, where I also come, and the research infrastructure of the Research Center of the Slovenian Academy of Sciences and Arts. Well, within this year, we plan to build an open consortium to enable also other interested institutions to participate in the DARIAH activities, especially bearing in mind the future cost of funding, thus allowing us to create a strong applicant consortium with our colleagues from Clarion and other important stakeholders. We try to gather our forces with the so-called sibling initiatives, namely, first with the Slovenian branch of Clarion, and I would like to congratulate to the newly appointed national representative for Clarion, Tomasz Erjavec, who is here with us. We collaborate with Clarion on an institutional basis. Both infrastructures mentioned are also members of Clarion, and even we as historians were able to contribute first text corpus to Clarion database within science fictions 3 years ago. The most important collaboration on the more personal level between us is considering TEI, XML, and markup language, which have considerably improving our own basic work on context. Another initiative that I would like to mention is CESDA, and I would also like to say hi to our colleagues Sonia and Sanja who are here with us. We established close contacts with them also, especially because we wish to establish a prototype archive for research data in humanities in the future. We are also in close contact with Slovenian Open Air initiative, and in the next month we'll organize a seminar on open access and open data policies together with CESDA colleagues, because in that moment 2 central repositories for scientific articles in open access are starting to work. We didn't have such infrastructure till now. Our work in the DARIAH circle is not limited only to the basics. Members of DARIAH are active in preparing policies and documents, most recently in the preparation of guidelines for digitizing long-time preservation and access to the cultural heritage, which were prepared under the Ministry of Culture, because digital humanities and cultural heritage are of course interlinked, but not under the same ministry in Slovenia. And that can sometimes make a gap between research and memory institutions who are working under different rules and practices. We managed to connect some basic contents with the help of networking, personal contact, and so on, and also offering free our services. So those materials don't only get digitized, but also available to public, transcribed, even machine readable at the moment. I'm talking here about different materials. I'm personally connected with some. Let's say that we are digitizing in connection with biggest archives, the population censuses for Slovenia for the last 100 years, and we are one of our dearest partners is also the Slovenian Parliament. We are digitizing and making machine readable also the stenographic lineage of the Slovenian Parliament. Our group also advocates open access, open data. That was still a taboo in some spheres in Slovenia not a long time ago, and the easiest way to make that happen is to practice what you preach, and I think that we are quite successful in this field. Also, the digital humanities are not something unusual in Slovenia, and there is quite a lot of projects past and running, but we can unfortunately trace an even development in the disciplines. I'm coming from the field of historiography, which is now well developed. The linguistics are, of course, the pioneer discipline in this area, but our partners at the Scientific Research Center of Slovenian Academy are catering for a much more wider spectrum of disciplines, and will be able also to provide meaningful collections to DARIAH. This making those things digital enables us also to experiment with new technologies. And DARIAH at the European level was the incentive to even start using them and also to get enough funds to make that happen. There were terms and ideas that came from DARIAH meetings, and I'm still thankful to Sophie to put the triple store mantra in my head. So triple store is somewhere in the midterm plans now. There are 2 DARIAH principles that I like the most. I like them all, but some are a bit more dear to me. And one goes to DARIAH is the infrastructure made by researchers for researchers, and another that we are digitally focused but analog aware. In the Slovenian case, we are trying to offer to our researchers resources, tools, but we try to think also onto the more conservative and digitally less mature users, who are still a predominant part of our users. On the other hand, there is also a very intimate sphere of researchers who are really deeply involved into digital work and would like to get a new insight, and we try to communicate with them. This is why we are organizing a wide range of workshops, and sometimes we have to cover the basics. As in the case of the copyright in the digital world, another taboo question where DARIAH Slovenia is among leaders. We gathered more than 100 interested people 2 times, but I was even more surprised by the interest for the series of the TEI XML workshops where 50 researchers showed up to the lectures. Raising digital awareness and establishing a wide enough group of colleagues is still a primary group of DARIAH Slovenia, which is nevertheless now on the map of Slovenian science and recognized as a relevant stakeholder. And if we return to the past for a moment, I was presenting our first major effort to connect different institutions with their digitized contents in one browser called CDIH in Utrecht, claiming that we have to establish a network of partners who are willing to share their contents using harvesting, and learning that it does not hurt. We definitely established a solid network of such partners and even partly overcome another problem for 2012. And that was the non-existence of metadata, which are now present in the most cases. As I shortly listed in this presentation, we are alive and kicking, confirmed with our friends from different disciplines, and we of course know them by name. And that is also a good thing of being a small country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. We move ahead with the second part.